You're listening to HauntsRUs, the podcast that's haunted on Maine. I'm your host, Cheeb, and I'm haunted on Maine. Today I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Thoughty and Gata. How are you ladies doing today?
Doing pretty good. Ready for some spooky, scary stories.
Yeah, we like them spooky and scary.
Excited.
Stories. Yeah.
Yeah. And tonight we got what I'd call an iconic spooky story, because it's a story that's like kind of like really close to us. We've all heard it. It's like kind of part of our culture. Yeah. So we've definitely hinted at like La Llorona before, because in episode 2 in Doll Island we mentioned that that's the same river that supposedly La Llorona drowned her children. And today we're actually going to talk about that tale. For those of you who aren't Hispanic, La Llorona is like this oral tradition. Like every parent tells it to their child to like make them behave or like whatever, and there's like a ton of like variations of it. Could you guys tell me about like when the first time you heard the story of La Llorona was?
I think I was like maybe like 6 or 7. I was like misbehaving. My mama told me that story, like, you don't behave, you know, La Llorona's gonna get you. And I was like, what's that? And then she told me about that whole story. Well, not the entirety of it, because I was a kid, so I vaguely remember it. But what I do remember is that she drowned her kids, and if you hear her screaming, you're pretty much screwed, because she gonna get you.
Get his ass.
Yeah. You better ball out. It's like, if you hear her and she sounds further away, she's near you, but if she sounds close to you, she's far away from you. So
I heard that too. Yeah.
I don't like that. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Because it's such a good excuse to be like, oh, you thought you were safe? Actually,
thought
you're in hella you're in hella danger. No.
Yeah, or like sometimes if you hear like the cry, it means that like one of you is going to die or is going to be in danger. Yeah, it's like, I guess well, I suppose like Mexico and South America is still considered the West, right? But I suppose like the West as in like more of like America and Europe. I think what people usually how do you say?
Associate?
Yeah, what people usually associate La Llorona with is like a banshee or a woman in white.
Yeah.
So like a woman in white is usually like a woman that wanders around like rivers or like bodies of water, and like she appears to like men or like small children. And like a banshee is like like an entity that like screams and like usually signifies if like something's about to like happen that's bad. So like when you think about like a white woman or a banshee, that's very similar to La Llorona. Because she's also an entity that like wanders by like the oceans, not the oceans. She's an entity that wanders by rivers and like bodies of water, and like she primarily scares children, but like people say that she's pretty indiscriminate in like who she appears to, and like the wailing also like signifies that she's near and that something is gonna happen.
I'm getting spooked now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's pretty woke, you know. She indiscriminately just did things.
Yeah, see, I say indiscriminately, but I always thought like, oh, she only like attacks Mexicans. She don't. But like I've heard some firsthand stories where it's like people in like fucking Kansas that are like seeing her. Yeah, so I used to think that like her reach was only in Mexico because that's where she drowned her children, and she needs to find her children. And I was just like, oh, it's like only like in Mexico. If you're a Mexican kid in California, you're a little bit messed up in Nevada and Texas or New Mexico, you know, because that all used to be like Mexican territory. Maybe you're a little, you know, you're in the danger zone, but like if you're in Kansas, you're fine. But apparently that's not true.
Apparently not. They got rivers and lakes over there.
They got rivers and lakes over there, baby. That's like ghost highways. That's how they travel.
You ain't safe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, spooky. I don't like it. Yeah, man, that's what my sister used to tell me. She was like deathly afraid of this legend, so she would tell it to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think one time I'd said that like verbatim, like, oh well, we're not like in Mexico, so who cares? And she's like, no, dog, she travels. And I was like, fuck. All right,
She travels.
she travels. God.
She's like
scared. Yeah. So like So like my grandma's pool was very scary as well. I was like, it's water. It's water. She'll get me.
She's gonna show up, bro.
She's gonna show up. It didn't help that like I had what's it my great grandmother lived like in a shed behind like near that pool.
Mm-hmm.
So she'd walk around sometimes, you know, at night it'd be a little spooky to, you know, look out the window and there's a person
there's
walking
a
around.
woman out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, you're just like, La Llorona's like driving her ghost car through like the rivers, and then she sees a pool and she's just like, you know what, I'm gonna hop over there. Pools are like her pit stops. She just goes there to like recharge.
Like, I'm looking for a refreshing dip.
But yeah, man, when did you hear about, you're literally just telling us how you heard about La Llorona.
Yeah.
But what was the first time? How old were you?
I feel like I was like 10. I must have been 10 because I think my mom like would always like, yeah, because me and my sister didn't like know each other until I became 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, was it 10? Maybe 8. Let's say 8. I think that's about right. Because she must have, like, an older teenager, she told me. Or as an older teenager, she told me about the story.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm surprised of, because my mom was always like, don't be fucking telling her shit. She did the opposite. She didn't tell me anything about, like, Mexican legends or anything. She's like, I'm not gonna... She's like, I don't know. Like, I was a scaredy cat kid, like, a nervous kid to begin with. So she was like, I'm not gonna give her something else to be nervous about.
Yeah, well, your mom kind of made the correct decision because my mom was the opposite. And I had a ton of behavioral issues in, like, 3rd and 4th grade that were... that were kind of caused directly by it.
It was the only right decision she made. It's okay.
Yeah.
She's like, maybe I shouldn't recreationally scare my child as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not recreationally, at least. But no, yeah, she was, I was like 8, and my sister would tell me about it because she was scared of it. I don't think that my mom told her about it. I think she probably just looked it up, because she's always been like, what's the word? Well, she's always like scary stories and stuff, so she looked into it herself.
Yeah, or like maybe like some other kid told her. There's a lot of Hispanics around here, you know?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Her brother probably told her.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I think...
Spooky.
When I heard about La Llorona, I was obviously, like, very, very young when I heard about it, because, like, I don't know, I was, like, a very spoiled child, so, like, I got myself in, like, a lot of problems, and I was, like, really entitled about, like, being punished. I was like, this is an injustice, I'm running away.
I gotta go, I'm running away. Oh, man.
So, like, my mom would tell me a lot of legends, actually. I remember she would keep telling me scary stories in, like, the 3rd and 4th grade to get me to, like, behave and, like, do my homework, because, like, I refused to do my homework. And you know what? I refuse to do homework to this day as an adult, so do fucking work.
Hell yeah. I'm with that.
We don't get anything done.
I have, what is it, a 3.9 GPA. I've never done a shed of fucking homework in my fucking life.
How the hell did you manage that?
Oh, because, like, the way, like, grading works and, like, higher education is they're just like, well, I don't want to fucking see this person next year, so... Sometimes that'll get you.
Damn, you lucked out, man. I had a teacher that like got on me about attendance. I was like, bitch, I pay for this class. I come here when I want to.
Oh, it's like so long as you pass the fucking final, a teacher will pass you. That's literally how it works in like higher education. If you just do the final and pass it, you're good.
Usually, yeah. Unless you have
Yeah.
a fucking stupid math teacher like I did.
Well, I did
Hated
do
that
math homework, but like
bitch.
the math teachers were like very liberal. They were just like the math homework is just like the lecture for the next day.
Ah.
But anyways, but yeah, I was kind of a shit kid, and my mom told me a ton of these legends. Which, looking back on it, and we're gonna talk about a lot of these legends later on, because I'm gonna ask her about them, because she told me a lot of them, and they all involve women. And women who
Yeah.
aren't allowed to have any agency, or else they're punished.
Mm.
Women who meet Satan himself.
Yeah, it's always women, man. They're
Yeah,
like, oh, this
so
lady's
they were-
having sex. She's a witch. She's in
Yeah.
with the devil. It's like,
Looking at it now, she told me a lot of these legends that were just like, you need to stay in line, and then I refused to.
Nice. I mean, that sucks for baby Chibi, but nice.
Yeah, I must have been very difficult to deal with in youth, because I just simply would not obey. that's my origin story, but these legends like would really get to me, and I think I had like worse behavioral problems because of it. Because like the kids at school found out that like I had like a serious fear of like the supernatural and stuff. So they would like start rumors. They'd be like, the house near the school is haunted, and I found this haunted item, and I'm gonna put it on your desk to bully you.
Oh.
Yeah, so eventually
That's
I just
really mean.
started like getting angry at these kids and screaming at them in class.
I mean,
Because
hey,
I was being bullied.
you're being bullied. Fuck them.
Yeah, and then they
Now
would
you
tell
have
me
a
that like
haunted
the
podcast.
bathroom was haunted, and that like all kinds of fucked up shit would happen there, and like as a result, like I just wouldn't use the bathroom. And that caused a whole set of issues. So yeah, that was like a really bad idea on my mom's side to tell me all those legends, and now I have a podcast about paranormal bullshit.
Hey,
So,
man. Made
I could have been a
lemons.
doctor. I could have been a doctor, but I'm a
Made
podcaster.
lemons?
It's all my mom's fault.
Made lemonade. It's okay. I said made lemons like an idiot. Make lemonade, excuse me.
But yeah, the cool thing about this legend is that it's really far spread through all of South America, and like every country family kind of has like their own variation of the legend. Because like I know the variation of legends that I heard had like a lot of, how do you say, I like a lot of religious iconography, mentions of like hell and Satan and all that shit. They all did.
Everything. Something has to involve Satan.
Yeah, your boy.
Your boy. It's your boy.
Yeah,
Satan.
man. You know, if mom didn't tell me all those stories, I also wouldn't have, like, looked up Satanism to BH, so my mom made a lot of mistakes there.
Well.
It caused my goth scene. I didn't
There it
become a
is.
doctor. I'm a podcaster now. So
okay.
yeah, to all the Hispanic mothers to be, maybe fucking cut that shit out.
Maybe cut this shit out, man. Maybe take
Yeah.
a parenting class or two.
And maybe scaring your children to behave and like making them believe in the paranormal may not be the best. Yeah.
Yeah, man. The whole reason I don't go outside is because instead of telling me about paranormal stuff, my mom would tell me about real world like kidnappings and murders that happen.
Dude, my mom would do the same, and she'd tell me
Bro.
they'd like kidnap me and take my organs and shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
now I can't go outside.
Now I don't go. Dude, I'd be going out, bro. I'm a piece of shit.
You're like, I'm ready. I don't know, man. It was a bit of both. I was scared of other people, and then my sister was like, "Bro, don't even worry. They'll send you back." I was like, "Thank you, sister." No, not in pieces because I'm so annoying. She said.
Oh yeah.
I love my sister. So this story.
Yeah, you guys want to hear the story?
Hell yeah. Tell us the internet's variation.
All right. So, La Llorona, or her Christian name was Maria. They're all Maria.
Yeah.
Was born to a peasant family in a humble village. Her startling beauty captured the attention of both the rich and the poor men of the area. She was said to have spent her days in her humble peasant surroundings, but in the evenings she would don her best white gown and thrill the men who admired her, she would don her best white gown and thrill the men who admired her in her local fandango. Let me say that one again. A fandango? What the fuck is that?
What the fuck is a fandango?
What the fuck is
they watching movies?
Go. Whoa.
But in the evenings, she would don her best white gown and thrill the men who admired her at the local fandangos. Young men anxiously waited for her arrival, and she reveled in the attention that she received. Ooh. Someone's an attention whore. Women can't be doing that.
What a slut.
What a thought.
Wow, thought. Immoral. Getting attention? Are you wearing a bow right now?
Whore.
Oh my
Whore.
goodness.
Exposing her ankles.
Pornography.
What a thought.
Jezebel.
However, La Llorona had 2 small sons who made it difficult for her to spend her evenings out, and often she left them alone while she cavorted with the gentlemen during the evenings. One day, the 2 small boys were found drowned in the river. Some say they drowned through her neglect, but some say that she drowned through their neglect, but others... Some say that she drowned through her neglect, but others say that she may have died by her own...
It's okay, baby.
Okay. I'm gonna take a sip of water.
Take a sip of water.
It's always very stressful when I have to read.
It's okay, baby. We help you read.
Some say that they drowned through her neglect, but others say that she may have died by her own hand. Another legend says that La Llorona was a caring woman full of life and love, who married a wealthy man who lavished her with gifts and attention. However, after she bore him 2 sons, he began to change, returning to a life of womanizing and alcohol. Often leaving her for months at a time, he seemingly no longer cared for the beautiful Maria, even talking about leaving her to marry a woman of his own wealthy class. When he did return home, it was only to visit the children, and the devastated Maria began to feel resentment towards the boys. One evening, as Maria was strolling with her 2 children on a shady pathway near the river, her husband came by in a carriage with an elegant lady beside him. He stopped and spoke to his children, but ignored Maria, and then drove the carriage down the road without looking back. After seeing this, Maria went into a terrible rage, and turning against her children, she seized them and threw them into the river. As they disappeared downstream, she realized that she had done and ran down to save them, but it was too late. Maria broke down into an inconsolable grief, running down the streets screaming and wailing. The beautiful La Llorona mourned them day and night. During this time, she would not eat and walked along the river with her white gown, searching for her boys, hoping they would come back to her. She cried endlessly. Endlessly. She cried endlessly as she roamed the riverbanks, and her gown became soiled and torn. When she continued to refuse to eat, she grew thinner and appeared taller until she looked like a walking skeleton. Still a young woman, she finally died on the banks of the river. Not long after her death, her restless spirit began to appear, walking the banks of the river when darkness fell. Her weeping and wailing became a curse of the night, and people began to be afraid to go after dark. She was said to have been seen drifting between the trees along the shoreline, or floating on the current with her long white gown spread out upon the waters. On many a dark night, people would see her walking along the riverbank and crying for her children, and so they no longer spoke of her as Maria, but rather La Llorona, the weeping woman. Children are warned not to go out into the dark, for La Llorona might snatch them, throwing them into their deaths in the flowing waters. Though the legends vary, the apparition is said to act without hesitation or mercy. The tales of her cruelty depends on the version of the legend you hear. Some say that she kills indiscriminately, taking men, women, and children. Whoever is foolish enough to get close enough to her. Others say that she is very barbaric and kills only children, dragging them, screaming to their watery grave. In one variation, which is the one that I'm personally more used to, she was tricked by a demon who told her that her son's souls were lost, but that she would be granted entry to heaven if she found the souls and brought them to heaven where they belong. The demon knew that the son's souls were already in heaven and that the woman... Okay, let me start that sentence again. The women.
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 Let's go whamming.
The demon knew that her son's souls were already in heaven, and the woman would be stuck in the land of the living trying to find her sons forever, crying constantly for the sins she had committed. After a long time without finding her sons, her grief and desperation to just be able to die and be at peace caused her to start taking other children's souls by drowning them. So what do you think?
Catholic version is fun.
Yeah, the version I heard was the one where she's cursed to find her children, and, like, she's resentful, and, like, she'll take other children indiscriminately and kill them.
Yeah. She's like, I want this to be over with.
Yeah,
no, man. The version that I heard is very much like, fuck men. They're terrible. Don't go near them. Because, well, not exactly don't go near them, but, like, it was more just like, oh, like, she had children with this man, and then he left her because, of course, he did.
Which is something, I think that happens in all cultures, but yeah, it's pretty prevalent. It was in fucking Coco.
Yeah, it was in Coco. Damn. Coco really got it with the Mexican culture. The dad left. The mom has a stupid rule that she won't tell you why she's doing it. Doesn't make any sense. It's because of another man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Men are bad, actually.
Men are bad,
comes
actually.
up a lot in the legends, which are men are bad, but I mean...
Then why do we treat them so well?
Unfortunately, I'm still straight, so that didn't work, Mom. Ha!
Does she want you to be gay?
I don't know. She just wanted me to know that men are bad.
Yeah, man. Like, it's such a weird, like... That, oh man, yeah, that's so weird. Like, I feel like most Latino mothers or Latina mothers, like, kind of, like, drill it into you that men are terrible, don't trust men, but they still want you to get married and have children.
Yeah, man, don't
it's
you
like,
know?
well, I'm a lesbian now, Mom, so...
Oh, man. There's this short story I came across called, like, Woman Hollering Creek. It was significant because it's one of, like, the few published short stories that has mention of, like, La Llorona. And, like, it's about, like, this woman who's, like, expecting a child. And, like, she's kind of unsure about, like, the person that she's having a child with. And she's having, like, second thoughts. And perhaps I didn't read it all the way. Because I was just like, well... La Llorona is only, like, mentioned a little bit. It's like one of her relatives tells her the story about, like, about La Llorona, and that's it. So I'm just like, that's not too relevant to the story. But I guess, so the ending, I suppose, is open to interpretation, but she hops in a car with another lady, and she's driving a big pickup truck, and she's just like, oh, is this your husband's car? And she's like, no, man, this is my car. I paid for it. I'm paying for it. I chose this car.
Me.
Other cars are for pussies. This is my car. And then it just kind of, and then she's just like, wow, that's so cool. And it ends like that. And I'm just like, oh, she's gay.
Yeah.
This is a story of realizing that you're a lesbian. And
the fade to black is how you know.
Look. The Wikipedia synopsis was just like, you know, it's about, like, our financial dependence on men and how, like, women are not allowed to have agency and all this. So, like, the when you meet the woman at the end, it's just like, oh, this is a woman who has, like, agency and who doesn't need no man and has a pickup truck. And I'm just like, this is a lesbian love story.
It's lesbian
love story. They're gonna fuck.
Hell yeah. One can only hope.
What do you think, Gato?
I think that's precise. Because
you break the cycle.
You break the cycle. That's what it is.
Do it.
That's why so many, like... That's why all them kids is lesbians now. We said no more.
Yeah, man.
Or bi.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
Yeah, man, if men are bad,
Men
what
are
else
bad.
are we supposed to do? You know?
Man. That's funny. I was playing a game yesterday where, like, you know how back in the day they used to do, like, oh, pick an answer and then we'll tell you what everyone else picked? The question was like, oh, like, men are stupid. And I was like, the correct answer is yes. But most of the people that played this game said no. And I was like, man, men be playing this game. This is a game for men. Because, of course, the answer is yes. Get out of here.
Yeah, man. Every Mexican legend is just men are bad or women are whores, so...
Yeah. Both true. It's okay. But one is a bad thing and the other is not.
The other is just a fact of life.
Yeah.
Hispanic culture is kind of messed up, too.
It's a little bit. Man, we talking about the patriarchy in the United States. Have you all heard of the patriarchy in Mexico?
It's really bad.
Oh, it's real bad.
Yeah.
I'm one of the lucky ones that I only have, like, 2 male relatives, and my grandma, like, also hates men, so she did not, like... What's the word? She wasn't like, oh, set the table so the men could talk, or like, oh, like...
Yeah, we never did that at my house, dude. My mom... My grandma threw it like a dead chicken at one of my mom's boyfriends, because she was just like, no. And my mom would do the same to my boyfriend if we had chickens. And you know what? I will do the same for my daughter. That's the goal, man.
That's the goal.
I want to own chickens, so that way I can throw a dead chicken at my daughter or son's boyfriend. I don't discriminate.
Don't discriminate. Your son has to know that men are bad too. Don't be fucking with them boys, son. They bring you nothing.
Oh man.
Sorry, our one male viewer. Sorry, Antonio.
Oh no! Don't call him out like that.
Oh,
he loves
sorry.
the podcast.
Just the one. I'm saying he's the one male viewer. It's okay.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
I found some of these. I found some of like these first-hand accounts. You guys want to start reading them?
Yeah, man. Let's read the first-hand accounts.
All right. Which one of you guys wants to go first?
1, 2, 3. No.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
First-hand accounts. Okay. So it's recently, in working as a copy editor for a newspaper, I came across a wire story of Llarona. That brought back memories of what happened to me when I was a student at Kansas State University in the early 1980s in Manhattan. Manhattan? There's a Manhattan in Kansas?
No,
Give me.
Is there a Manhattan in Kansas?
I guess so. They gotta do something to spice it up.
And led me to your website as I read more about the legend. One evening, I went to a mobile home that seemed to remember being near a creek or river to visit a couple of my friends who also were attending K-State. As I walked into the door, I found them sitting on a sofa looking somewhat freaked out. They explained that just moments earlier, one of the bar stools was spinning and hopping around. As they were Mexican Americans, they wondered if La Llorona had anything to do with that incident. They explained the legend to me, and I had never heard it before. That's crazy. That's
crazy.
Just
spreading her power, dude.
They're from Kansas, man.
That's
They don't know what she is.
not even in Kansas, are you saying?
No.
You're not even safe in Kansas, Manhattan.
She
Not even once.
Wait, she was spinning. Oh my god. See,
She's just
they
having
probably
fun,
had
man.
like a blocked sink or something. That's
A
where
sink.
the water.
She's just
she was hanging out by the clog sink.
Honestly, that's the best way to describe it. How else would you describe
Oh
it?
fuck, my sinks
You
are
feel me?
clogged.
no, you're gonna get visited, bitch.
Fuck.
Get ready.
No.
So continue with your story.
Right. Okay. So, anyways, they would invite me to stay the night in the spare bedroom, which I did. Later in the night, a woman appeared to me, laying next to me in bed, and asked if I would know where her children were. It seemed that, while I may have been dreaming, I was half awake. Then I fully awoke and looked up toward the doorway just in time to see a dark figure seemingly looking at me and then quickly ducking back out the doorway. Right then, that left me too scared to go check and see if it was one of my friends checking in on me. Perhaps to see why I was talking in my sleep or something. I went back to sleep and waited until the morning to ask them if either one of them looked into my room during the night. Neither one did. So to this day, I do not know whether I really did experience a supernatural visit or if my dream and mind played tricks on me. That's crazy.
They had a shadow person. No.
All right. Did you finish the story?
Yeah, man, bro. They had a shadow person in there. I'm telling you.
Oh, no. Oh, you're pretty good with those. You know
yeah,
what's up
they
with
were.
that.
Yeah, you said he peeked into his room and then ducked away. Hell no. That shit used to happen to me all the time. No. Fuck
Right,
that.
Do you want to read the next story?
Yeah.
They were fighting or something in that house. No.
That can't be me. No,
I don't
no,
like
no.
that. Mm-mm. See something in the doorway? I'm not
could never.
asking my
I'm
friends
leaving,
what happened.
too.
I'm leaving. Oh my god. Alrighty. My story of La Llorona takes place in Mexico. When I was 8 years old, when my abuelita, grandmother, told me to go to the store to buy a soda. This was during the evening, as we were getting ready to eat supper. My brother and I left for the store, and along the way we heard wailing, but we didn't pay much attention to it. However, as we continued on the way, we saw a young woman walking towards us. All of a sudden, my little brother started to cry, and the woman ran towards him, acting as if she was going to help him. When we saw that she was floating instead of walking, we began to run back to our house and told our grandmother and mom what happened. We just locked the door and started to pray to God to help us and make La Llorona go away.
Ooh.
I don't like that. That's scary. See?
What's she doing in town?
Exactly. No, not only that, neglect. Why would you send...
dude.
I mean,
my
I know
grandma
grandmas
used to
stay
like
doing that, but it's nighttime.
it's my grandma used to make me go like fetch things from the store all the time in Mexico.
Yeah, man, that's like the first thing that they make you do when you get a driver's license. But what I'm saying is that it's nighttime. How dare. I don't like this. That's spooky. I think I would like shit my pants.
Alright, Gato, did you
No,
want to
you do
read
that.
An Attack by the Weeping Woman?
You do that, please.
Okay.
That's spooky.
Los spookies.
The next one, An Attack of the Weeping Woman. Attack of the Weeping Woman.
A woman. Not woman.
The next one, An Attacked by the... Ugh. When I was about 8 years old, I had just started becoming interested in all things paranormal. I was researching La Llorona when all of a sudden I heard a noise. So I decided to check it out. Then I heard it again. It sounded like it was coming from the bathroom, so I walked in and stopped at the sink. Then all of a sudden, my head was pushed into the sink and the water started to run. The sink finally filled all the way and I was trying to breathe. Then I couldn't breathe anymore. I thought I was going to die from lack of oxygen, so I screamed and my mom came in. She pulled my head out after a struggle she pulled my head out after a struggle and hugged me tightly. She knew I wouldn't drown myself, so she started thinking. Then she froze and her face turned white. She screamed and almost fainted. I asked her what was wrong and she said with a stutter, La Llorona. So she do be hanging around just sinks.
She do be hanging around just
She just needs a little bit of water and she's there.
My showers, it won't drain. My sink won't drain. My bathroom is haunted, guys. No. It's gonna, I'm out.
I want to read the last one. Who wants to read the next one?
When I was 12 years old, in 1991, my parents separated and my mother moved me and my brother to Monterrey, Mexico. In Monterrey, Mexico.
Go on.
Isn't that a bit? Oh, sorry. That's a bit in...
Look, we're all Hispanic here. We know what's up.
In the winter, all three of us would sleep in the same room because there was no central heating. Only electric heaters.
Only.
Ugh. Anyway, there were 2 beds for my mother and brother. I slept on the floor in a sleeping bag next to my mother's bed. One night, around 2:30 in the morning, I woke up because I had been dreaming about my great-grandma. She kept calling my name, 3 times to be exact. Just a few minutes later, I heard the scariest screams coming down from the street. It was horrible. The cries continued each time, coming closer.
Absolutely awful.
It's awful. It's bad. It's terrible. The cries continued, each time coming closer. I was so horrified that I would not even wake my mother, who was laying right next to me. I was so scared, I did not even blink. It was the most evil cry I had ever heard. Finally, it passed. Finally it passed my house and slowly faded away. Man, there's so many exclamation marks in this one. He's like, can you believe? Anyway, the next day, there's only like 2 more lines. The next day, I told my mother, I didn't believe in stuff like this, especially not La Llorona. After that night, I do.
Oh, wow.
Spooky.
Oh, this one's a real fucking winner right here. This one upset me.
Oh, tell me.
It's called Did I Really See La Llorona? A California version.
I'm telling you, she travels.
She travels, man.
Not safe.
She's very well traveled,
She's
man.
very
But she has all
well-traveled.
kinds of cool stories.
She got all that time to terrorize children.
Yeah.
Of course you're gonna travel.
I don't think anyone has ever heard of the city that I live in, the suburbs of a small valley town called Lompoc, California. Well, the story of La Llorona that I know was that she was a prostitute, and every time she would have a child, she would take to the creek and drown it. Before long, she was murdered by one of her customers and sentenced by God to wander the rivers and streets of the world looking for her children.
I have heard that one.
La Llorona became so upset that she cried and cried, eventually drying her eyes out, leaving 2 black holes where her eyes once were, and her mouth grew incredibly large, resembling that of a horse. The legend continues that if she heard a child crying, she would come for them, thinking it was one of her own. When I was a child of 8 children, my family would warn us that La Llorona was outside waiting. During the day, we might cry when we heard this, but as the sun started to die, we were too scared to even walk alone through the house, thinking she might have heard us and was waiting in a dark corner. One night, when I was about 8 years old, I was terribly angry at my mom, and she made me sleep with her that night. However, I was so upset that I couldn't sleep, and La Llorona was the last thing on my mind. However, as I tossed and turned, I looked to the foot of the bed, and there stood a lady in a black dress with purple trim. She had 2 black holes in her eyes, and an enormous grin on her face. She had long, straight black hair that looked like it was blowing in the wind. The weird part was that I wasn't scared. I just sat up in bed staring at her for a good 5 minutes. When she wouldn't go away, I finally got tired and fell asleep. It wasn't until the next morning that I got scared, and strange things seemed to happen to me in that house ever since.
I don't like that.
Oh man, her reaction to seeing a ghost is like pretty much the same reaction I've had.
Yeah, that's same. Which is
just like,
why that one's so upsetting. It's like, oh.
Yeah, which is like, you just look at it and then you're just like, you know what? I'm going back to sleep.
You're like, you know what? I can't process what's happening right now. Let's just lay down. Yeah, man. All the ones that are like, oh, I saw it and then I screamed. I was like, you lie. Because that's not what you do.
You're lying.
You're a liar.
No one does that shit.
No one does that. You see that, you can't even process, and you just go, okay, sleepy time then. It's not until it happens 8 million other times that it that it registers. Fuck, that's scary. I don't like that.
Oh,
Things standing at the edge of the bed hits too close to home. I don't like it. That one and like shit in doorways. I don't know. Could be ghosts. It could just be your mind like freaking out on you. That's definitely happened to me before where like I hallucinated something because I kept thinking about it.
Really?
Has that ever happened to you?
You're gonna hallucinate tonight, baby. Yeah. Everyone listening to this fucking podcast. Ah!
Yeah, man. Like what was it? I think like I like am obsessive about not having roaches. So one time I was laying in bed, not here currently, so it's great. Back at my old house, I was like just hanging out on my bed, and I felt like I had seen a roach earlier, so I was like freaking out. I was like, "There's a roach! I know there's a roach! I know there's a roach right there. There's got to be a roach! I'm telling you right now, there's a roach. It's huge. I know for sure." And I kept thinking this.
Ever seen.
Yeah, and I kept thinking this, and like I would see stuff out of like my peripherals. I'd be like, "It's a roach," and it's not. But then one time, I look over because I'm like, "But what if maybe there is a roach? I don't see anything, but maybe there is." I looked over and there's a huge roach, like abnormally huge, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I like go to get a shoe, and like I come back and it's not there.
You're really gonna go out there and take care of that yourself.
I was ready. It wasn't like it was abnormally huge, as in like maybe the size of a computer mouse.
God.
And they're just like, let me.
That's like Olympian roach.
Let me get my big boot.
Yeah, it was like an Olympian roach, and I was ready because I ain't scared. I'll kill a roach. I'll smack it. I was like, there's no... Well, actually, that's not true. I am scared to kill a roach. But there was no other choice. I was like, I gotta get it. I gotta get the shoe. And it was gone. And I was where the hell did it go? And I searched the room looking for this roach, and it was nowhere to be seen. And I was like, oh my god. I fucking hallucinated that because I was being obsessive about... Oh...
Damn.
Yep.
No, but yeah, that's a thing for like kids who do hallucinate and have that condition. They'll say like the way that they know is that it's usually bigger than it should be.
Yeah.
That's one of the signs. Yeah.
That is one of that was so weird. Oh wait. I didn't know that. I'm glad to know that it actually was a hallucination. Not glad to know. I'm upset that I hallucinated.
Yeah, it's usually a lot bigger or a lot smaller than it ought to be, and that's how you know that, like, you may be hallucinating something. Because that's a really common hallucination to, like, see animals that aren't there. Yeah.
That's cool. Sorry, that
if
was not
you've ever hallucinated a giant roach, tell us about it.
Tell us the symptoms of your mental illness.
No, I don't like that.
Sorry, that was away from Llarona, but I don't know. I that's scary. I don't like it. I definitely believe in the ghosts, and I don't like that.
Man,
that's terrifying. I don't like that. Can you imagine? No, I don't even want to imagine.
Can you? I've never imagined in my life. I'm sorry, I cannot. Physically incapable of
imagining a woman at the edge of my bed with no eyes and a big smile.
Oh man,
fuck that shit.
La Llorona's about to appear in like this water bottle and fucking teach me a lesson, bitch.
Oh no. She's like 48 ounces. That's enough. That's good. Thank you.
Oh, it's like the girl from The Ring where it's like if you have her on a tiny screen, does she come out tiny? You know? If La Llorona comes out of your water bottle, is she like a little teeny tiny?
I took a sip as you said that and I almost spit it on my mic.
You're gonna La Llorona is actually just a stand ability, man.
It's just a what?
Oh man, you don't watch anime. You don't watch JoJo.
I don't know. I don't. I want to. It's on Netflix now.
It is on Netflix. I highly recommend it.
Nice.
Yeah. There's like a stand and like, what is it? The part with Josuke. Not Josuke, it's the part with Josuke, the kid with the pompadour. There's like a stand that like can appear and like kill people through water. So yeah, that's just La Llorona, baby.
Yeah, there she is. She just comes through.
There
through
she
the water.
is. She's just a stand user.
No, I don't like that. Water's scary, isn't it? You know what? Maybe this is why I'm scared of oat. No, that's not true. That's not why I'm scared. Sorry, I'm like talking to myself now. That shit's scary. Like, water's already scary. Can we not put like paranormal stuff in it, please? You already got big fish.
Big fish? Is that what you're afraid of?
I'm scared of big fish. I don't like it.
Big fish.
Mm-mm. When fishermen stand like next to their catch and it's like as tall as they are, I'm like, the ocean should be burned.
Hey man, we all came from there, man. That's our home.
Put it in hell.
Yeah, man. Lit tip. Agnostics rise up.
La Llorona's everywhere, man. There's like some folks that have looked into it and they liken the story of La Llorona to like the story of La Malinche. Are you guys familiar with this story? La Malinche?
No.
So the story of La Malinche, are you familiar with it? Are you familiar with like the term malinchiste? Malinchismo?
I think I have.
Yeah.
Tell me about it,
So,
though.
La Malinche in like Hispanic culture, when people use that term, it usually refers to people who are ashamed of their heritage. Yeah. And so the story of La Malinche is La Malinche. She was the slave that was sold to. Oh, wait. She was the slave that was sold to Hernan Cortés when he conquered Mexico, and she was like his interpreter, and people like see her as like a traitor of sorts because like they say that like when she helped Hernan Cortés and like bore his child. And he also left her. So Hernan Cortés like impregnated this slave woman who helped her, who helped him take over like basically like the Mexican Empire at the time, and like bore his child, and then she abandoned him.
Good.
So,
I mean, that's kind of a weird way to think of her. It's like, oh well, she bore his children. I'm like, I'm sure she didn't want to.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people have like kind of been looking into. Is like they really want to, but it's like, I suppose I would call it the Mexican version of like the tale of Adam and Eve, where it's like Eve eats the apple and like dooms humanity to like be afraid of like nakedness or whatever. It's kind of like the same sort of like juxtaposition. Look, I'm Catholic, but that doesn't mean I fucking know every story, okay? Even if it's literally the first one.
They learn shame, I think is what it is. I don't fucking know, never mind.
Yeah, they learn shame or some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like La Malinche is like when you're ashamed of your culture. So like La Malinche is kind of like the Eve of like Mexican culture because like she helped Hernan Cortés like take over Mexico and like colonize it and everything. Listen. And like a lot of people say that the similarities are like when like La Malinche bore his children and she was abandoned. Some people say that she drowned her children, but there's no historical evidence about this. Historically, we know that she did have a child by him and that he did not stay around because he married another Spanish lady because yeah. And that's also one of the stories where it's like she was abandoned by a Spanish man who went to like marry someone who was like wealthy instead of her. See? You see the similarities here?
Yeah, that's
so people say that like when La Malinche like bore her children and was abandoned, she drowned them, and that's the drowning of the children was like the death of like the Mexican civilization that was already there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, women get blamed for everything.
Yeah, man, we didn't fucking do shit.
I don't know. I'm like, I'm just fucking sitting here, and this man conned me, and now it's my fault? Alright.
And now it's my fault? That's true! The snake was a male.
The snake was a male?
Actually, it's open to interpretation who the snake is, because
the snake is a male.
You see, we don't know if the snake is the devil or Satan, because we don't know if Satan was taken away from heaven by the time that Adam and Eve happened. Anyways, the canon is all weird.
Canon's
we don't
all
fucking
weird.
know.
I could see it being the devil. That makes sense. The reason that he was fucking in there is because he was down with other people knowing shit, right? I'm sure.
Yeah,
something like that.
People, some theologists say that it's the devil. Some theologists say that it's not.
It's just a random snake.
Yeah, man. Check out my fucking haunted door podcast, the Scary Door podcast.
That's what all this knocking is.
Yeah, my haunted doll and theology podcast. That's what this is.
The queer feminist theology haunted. That was in the wrong order.
Yeah, we don't fucking know. Yeah, look. Talk about spooky shit, and we like to draw our dulsonas.
Yeah. It's all a ruse to make fucking OCs.
It really was.
Now I have to draw like
man.
She's cool. I like her. I mean, she's scary, and I don't like her. I don't want her to be near me. But
yeah, she's cool, I guess. Yeah, Lyarona's like pretty feminist, you know.
I don't know if she's feminist. But
I don't know. Well, you see, Thotties, some people would argue that the thing about, like, women historically is that in the time that they lived, they were not paid their due and suffered many injustices. And so, like, the only way that they have any power is after their death.
Killing your children, feminist.
Yeah. No! We're not. No! What I'm saying is that women are only granted power after they die, and they use that power to kill people. Look. Men do the same when they're alive.
They do.
So, I mean.
They do, though.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what all these stories are. They're like, oh my god, she brought it on herself. I'm like, I didn't bring shit. I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, man.
I'm killing my kids, you know.
Killing my No, aside from the kid killing part.
All right, let's move on to the next part, and that part may or may not stay in.
Okay.
So before the Spanish arrived to Tenochtitlan, there was the belief that there were going to be 7 ugly omens to bring the end of the world. Yeah, man. Aztecs and Mayans and their end of the world shit.
Telling us. They letting us know.
So the 6th of those omens was that there was going to be a woman screaming in the night. And that she would say, where will I take you, oh my children? So that was one of the omens of the 7 omens that the ancient people had, that their civilization was about to end. So that's why La Llorona is liking a lot. That's why the Llorona is like attached a lot to like the death of like the ancient civilization that was there like before colonization. And that's why pretty much she's like a super important figure in like Mexican culture. Like whether like you think about that or not, because to us it's just like, that's just like the story that they tell us, you know, to get us to behave. But like a lot of people like to say that, like, you know, there's like some likening to Mexican history that makes it like very significant to like the people there.
Yeah, man.
And like all of South American history, because like the Spanish colonized all that and like destabilized like their cultures and like their economies and everything. Basically everything was just worse after, you know? And that's just La Llorona. Is like she kills her kids because like she thinks that like that's gonna like solve her problems, and then it's just fucking worse, you know? And that's pretty much South America.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, man, because machismo, man.
Because of machismo.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Machismo. nut race, I guess.
So yeah, man. I know that there's like a lot of variations of this story. Like, if any of you guys, our audience, like, if you want to tell us like the version that you heard, if it's different from like these 3 versions that we told, like, tell us about it in the comments section below. Email us at HauntsRUs. Wait, is it? Yeah, email us at HauntsRUs@gmail.com. We have a Twitter and an Instagram. You could always direct message us anytime. That's Haunts_R_us. And we also have a Tumblr, Haunts-R-us, where I just repost a bunch of spooky shit I find online.
It's a bunch of fun dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, man. And also, since it's true, this podcast was a ruse for us to just draw our OCs. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram where we post all of that art of, like, the funny little characters you see on the screen.
The funny cartoons.
Yeah, we love them funny cartoons, bro.
I think we forgot to talk, or I don't know, maybe it's not important, but there is a song about her that many...
There's a song about her?
Yeah, right?
I don't know. I know
it was in Coco, wasn't it?
No, I don't think they talk about Llarona. That's the one thing they were just like, no, we're not going to talk about that.
Are you sure?
It's not about her.
Are you sure?
There's a popular cartoon in Mexico called Legend Quest. It's on Netflix. They have a movie about La Llorona.
Yeah, I did see that, and my sister was freaking out because she's like, they're showing this to children? How fucking dare they?
Yeah, man, watch Legend Quest. Legend Quest is like a really cool cartoon. It talks about like... Legend Quest has like a lot of paranormal and like legends of like Mexican culture. It's on Netflix. I really liked it. It had like a twist ending that I thought was super cool. And like they also did a movie of La Llorona, but I don't know if that one's on Netflix. But there's definitely a movie with those characters that's all about La Llorona. If you want to check out some cool animated content. It's not worth it.
Oh, animated? Like it's a
cartoon, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Legend
never
Quest.
mind. I saw like the actual like live action of it. It's like a recent date.
Oh, the one that's by the Conjuring people?
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It could have done better. I don't like it.
So yeah, man. Also, like, I have quite a few legends that I want to talk about because my mom told me a lot of them, and they all include the devil, and I want to talk about them in like a couple more episodes. But if you folks have like some Mexican legends that your parents told you to make you to behave and it didn't work, you should like tell us about it in the comments section, DM us, all that fun stuff.
Were you also irrationally afraid of owls? Tell us.
Oh yeah, owls are pretty big in Mexican culture.
Scary. Get them away.
But yeah, man. I was Cheap. I'm your host, Cheap. It's me. I'm the one with the blue dress. Who are you people?
Oh, it's me, Thadi. I'm the freaking try-hard goth.
I'm Gato, the painter.
Oh yeah, you look like a painter in the last one.
Yeah, y'all have me as a painter.
I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the yellow overalls. Didn't exist.
I look like I work there at your house. I'm living there.
You look like you were doing some roofing for us.
Right?
Yeah, man. Check out our Sims 2 playthrough that our editor stopped editing because it got dark. Look, I was going through some stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of repressed.
Anyways, I hope you guys had fun, and I hope that you are haunted on Maine now. That's it. I think that's how we're gonna end the episode. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. It won't stick. It may stick. I don't know.
Stop for the haunts. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.